tonight I am going to watch The Vampire Bat. All right.
Let's do this.
Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I watched this movie called The Vampire Bat from 1933. And I usually do the reviews right after I watch the movie, but I've been a little busy. I got this zit. It's been a pain in my butt for the last couple of days. It's too painful to pop, so I've been waiting for it to cook, and so far so good. I don't know, I'm really hoping it gets better by Halloween, because I got some plans. You know, I'm a single chick now. I got a costume, and with a little adjusting, it looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. So me and my other friend, who is newly single as well, we are gonna go out and mingle, and hopefully not get coronavirus. I did have a cold. I stayed home from work, and I half a day today. So, and it was just headache and sniffles. So it wasn't. I don't think it's COVID related. I already feel a lot better. Yay! Once again, I still don't know where to look. Okay, I don't care. The movie starts out with a man. I call him Lamp Man, because he walks around in the dark with a lamp, and he's like this older guy, and he's walking around. He looks up. He hears a wolf. It's like a wolf howl. It's like either a wolf or a dog, and the dog howls, and he looks up into a tree and he sees some bats. He keeps walking and he runs into a couple of people. The scene changes into this thing called the Burgermeister. I'm guessing this movie's, it's supposed to take place in Germany, because they say things like Frau, you know, for their names, and like, you know, German shit. And the Burgermeister, it's like a group of guys. One younger guy with a mustache. I'm gonna call him Mustachio. I think his name is Carl or some shit, but he's Mustachio in my eyes. And there's a bunch of other old guys, and they're talking about what's going on in the town. They're finding these people. There's like deaths. There's been like 6 deaths, and each of them have the same 2 like puncture wounds in their necks, 8 inches from the neck, and so feel like they're all connected. These other guys are talking about it, and they're like, oh, it's vampires. The older guys are hella superstitious. They're like, oh, it has to be vampires, like, no doubt. And the younger guy, he's the skeptic of the bunch, Mustachio. And he's like, this is crazy. There's no such thing as vampires. Like, whatever. This is fucking stupid. He's like, fuck that. And then, there's one guy, he's like the fat guy. I'm gonna call him the fat guy. And he's like, oh, it's true. Vampires and shit are true. And I keep my deadbolt locked. They're not gonna get me. And Mustachio is like, he's like fucking with the guy. And he's like, oh, are you sure? I hear vampires can turn into bats, and they can go through such and such. And he's like scaring the shit out of this guy. And that guy is just like, no, they're not gonna get me because I have you know, bolts and locks and all that shit. And the old guys are just as superstitious and they're freaking out about it. There's a shot of this pretty young woman in a science lab. She's in a science lab. There's a bunch of, you know, twisty shit with shit in them. And all of a sudden she gets like ambush kissed. And when that happens, one of her little concoctions is like busted. And he's like, ooh, I have dynamite kisses. Something like that. And she's just like, oh, you know, that's his girlfriend. That's Mustachio's girlfriend. They're talking. He's talking to his girlfriend. And he's telling her that about the whole vampire bullshit. And then he's like, oh, I'm 7 different kinds of a fool. So I'm blind as a bat. Oh, this one older lady, she comes down the stairs. And she's carrying this tray full of coffee. And she comes down, and it's Aunt Gussie. And Aunt Gussie is some type of hypochondriac. She thinks there's all kinds of shit wrong with her. And so she's always seeking the help of this doctor. And the doctor will come into play. So she's forcing them to drink this coffee. She's like, y'all want you guys want coffee? And they're all like, nah, drink this. And so they're like, oh, fuck, okay. So they Mustachio starts scaring poor Aunt Gussie. He's just like, did you know there's this talk about vampires or werewolves or something that's killing the people around town? And she's like, no, that can't be. You can't scare Aunt Gussie. And she pretends she's like hella brave and shit. It cuts to the doctor. I don't know his name. I'm gonna call him the doctor. And they're talking about the apple lady. The apple lady is ill and she's in bed. And the doctor's with her. And he checks her out. And while they're, because he does house calls. So he's in the apple lady's bedroom. This shaky guy walks in. He's got like, I don't know, I'm guessing DTs or some shit. He's just like shaking. And he comes in, he's got like a bouquet, like a tiny little bouquet of flowers, and he gives them to the apple lady. And she asks him for her cross. So he goes and gets her cross. And then they start talking about the bats. Shaky guy, his name is Herman, is like, oh, I love bats. Bats are cuddly. They're like cats. And everyone's like, okay. Fucking weirdo. The doctor, he's talking to this one lady that's like, I guess she's taking care of her, or that's his niece or something. And I guess they had seen a previous doctor, and the he's like, oh, what's this? And she said, oh, the doctor prescribed this. And he he like takes a giant swig. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Make sure she takes this. Okay. Whatever. So the man with the lamp, you see him walking around. And he is talking to the doctor that comes out. And they're discussing what could the possible person be that's killing everybody. Fucking Shaky Joe comes into play. He's like, hey guys. And lamp guy is like, you gotta go to bed. Go to bed, Herman. It's time for bed. I don't know. He's like a ward of the state or some shit. And so they're talking and talking about bats. And once again, Herman's all like, bats are so cuddly. Bats are my friends. And he walks away. And then the lamp guy, lamp guy tells the doctor, he's like, he keeps bats as pets. He's got them, like, he's got a couple of them at his house that he keeps as pets. And the doctor's like, oh, that's weird. And then Herman goes over, there's a lamppost nearby. He climbs up the lamppost, grabs a bat from the lamppost, takes it down, and he like puts it on his chest and just starts fucking stroking it, and just like, so weird. Herman leaves with his fucking bat pet. Lamp guy says to the doctor that, you know, what if it's Herman? I mean, he rarely has money to eat anything, but he's always well fed, and he loves bats. So maybe it's Herman. And then the rumor starts spreading that it could be Herman. They all start getting scared of him. Well, the one shot that I told you earlier of the bats, that was probably one of the only shots of bats in this movie, and it's called The Vampire Bat. Okay, whatever. So Mustachio is talking to his girlfriend about the bats, and he says, well, oh yeah, he says, I can't help feeling like I'm up a tree, stumped. So the doctor goes and visits Mustachio and his girlfriend, and they're like, oh, how's Apple Lady? And he's like, oh, you know, she's fine. She's got a case of nerves, that's all. Nerves, you know, back in the olden days when they had all these stupid like ailments for women. Oh, she's hysterical. She's got a case of the nerves. Let's just throw her in an asylum. Put her in a straitjacket. She's got nerves. Whatever. Change scene. So the doctor, he fucks off through this doorway after talking to Mustachio and his girlfriend. And I don't understand why they didn't catch that. It's like, I guess that's normal. So he's walking, the clock strikes midnight, and the movie pans into this bedroom. Whose bedroom is this? Surprise! It's the Apple Lady. I guess her cross isn't gonna help her now. Ah! She gets bit. And there you go. Another killing with the 2 bite marks. It's Mustachio and his girlfriend, and they're in like a garden. They're like in Aunt Gussie's garden. Herman is creeping around, and Aunt Gussie goes to get them their drinks, and the girlfriend, she is acting like, you know, little prude, kind of just like he's trying to kiss her, and she's all like laying back like, no. And while that's going on, Aunt Gussie comes back. The girlfriend is trying to play hard to get. So Mustachio wants to kiss her, and so she's like, okay, close your eyes. And he closes his eyes. And she grabs a peach or an apple or something. And she's like, okay, kiss me. And he kisses the fruit. And then he opens his eyes, and she's like, ha, fooled you. You kissed a fruit. Good job. So it's almost like half an hour into the movie, and there's only been one scene with bats, and that was at the very beginning. The rest of the movie has been Mustachio, the doctor, Apple Lady, Herman, Mustachio's girlfriend, and Gussie. And people freaking out because they think Herman is the vampire person. Oh, there's a weird scene with Herman goes to Aunt Gussie. It's the same afternoon, and Aunt Gussie's like pretending to sleep on a chair, and Herman comes over to her, and he's like he starts making sounds like a cat, and Aunt Gussie's like, "Come here, kitty, kitty, come here, kitty," and she goes and starts looking for this cat in the bushes, and she goes, "Ow!" and she runs out, and there's like a fucking turtle on her, and on her finger. She gets that off of her, and Herman starts talking to her. She's like, "Oh, I can get you something to eat," and he's like, "No, I'm good," and he takes this apple. I don't know, this film is really obsessed with apples. It's really weird. I don't, it's like the apple lady and then this dude eating apples. There's like some kind of a line like with a shit ton of people, and they're all going up this stone staircase to talk to the doctor and them. Herman, he's like, "Oh, what's going on here? What is this?" And so he innocently, goes to see what's going on, what this line is for. And people are looking at him and freaking out. Like, women are screaming. People are just like, "Ah!" because they think he is the killer. So he goes all the way past them, and he goes to, it's like the doctor and Mustachio are there. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Everyone thinks you're the killer." And then he goes and looks underneath they have the apple lady underneath like a tarp. And so he looks and screams and he freaks out and he runs away. And then Lamp Guy, he's like talking to these guys, talking to the doctor and Mustachio, and he's like, "Oh my God, this guy knows who I am. He's gonna kill me first. Ah!" And he just runs away, just freaked out. A mob, like this huge, like mob of people with pitchforks and torches go after Herman. And Herman's running. They're running after him. They go into, I don't know, it's like a cave or something. And they corner him in this cave. And I need to refill. So I got my wine, and I haven't had dinner yet. So, you know that meme with the the little dog, and they're like me sneaking to the fridge at 3 a.m. to eat shredded cheese. That was my dinner. The mob, the angry mob, is running after Herman, and they corner him. And Herman has no idea what's going on. He has no idea why he's being chased after. And he's just like, "What the fuck?" And he has no choice. And he just kind of falls, jumps maybe, off this cliff in the cave. So the townspeople are like celebrating. They're all happy, like, yeah, we got the killer. We're good. And then the doctor's maid, she dies. And she's got the puncture wounds. So they're like, okay, you guys killed Herman, and there's still another killing, and with the same puncture wounds. And the townspeople are like, yeah, we even stabbed him in the heart. Oh, okay, you stabbed him in the heart, and yet there's still someone dead. And then there's a scene where the doctor is sitting in his he's sitting in his desk, and he is controlling some guy that's in like a suit, like a black, cloak. I don't know who this guy is. I haven't seen him in this movie until then. So he goes over, and it shows him stealing the body of the lady that was just killed. And it looks like he is controlling this guy. And it shows him bringing her down and bringing her to that lab. And it might be that same lab that that Mustachio and his girlfriend work in. It looks like it. I mean, the doctor takes her blood, puts it in a beaker, and he feeds it to this, I don't know, like a sponge looking thing. I don't know if it's supposed to be a heart, but it's like this little spongy looking piece of crap that just kind of like pulsates. I just wanted to mention that there's this really cool scene where it's like a extreme close-up of the thingy, and then it shows the lady laying there, and it goes back, and kind of shows kind of what the doctor's plan is in regards to that thing. And so he feeds that thing. Aunt Gussie finds the body of the servant lady that was killed, and she faints. The guy that was being controlled by the doctor, and so they I say so way too often. I hate that. Mustachio is sleeping, and then while he's sleeping, there's the window, and you can see someone breaking in to the window, and I think he's wearing a top hat and a cloak, and it shows him going in. The doctor had given Mustachio some pills to take. He's like, hey, take these, it'll help you sleep. I really don't remember when that happened. I was kind of in and out. The guy starts breaking into his window. The doctor's sitting at his desk, and he is instructing whoever this guy is. He almost kind of looks like the Babadook. If you guys have seen the Babadook. He's got like his top hat, his cloak. And it's a guy that I did not see throughout this movie. But the doctor is sitting in his desk, and he's controlling this guy, and he's telling this guy what to do, where to go. And as he's doing this, the girlfriend, Mustachio's girlfriend, walks in and catches him. The doctor guy starts telling the girlfriend, he's like, if you tell somebody, I will kill you. And so she's like, okay. And so he starts telling her about his evil plan. He wants to create life. That little fucking SpongeBob looking thing that he was growing he is going to put that in somebody and create life. I think that was his goal, was to create some type of life. And I don't know, somehow that guy that was doing all this shit is like laying in a stretcher, and he somehow, the doctor gags and bounds the girlfriend, and so she's all gagged and bound, and he's telling her his evil plan of trying to make life. And then all of a sudden, ta-da, somebody walks in. He's with a top hat and he's with a cape, and it is Mustachio. And he's like, "Ha! I didn't take those pills you told me to take." And he's holding a gun. A little fight ensues, and Mustachio and the girlfriend go to, like, they run into a different room, and they can hear shots being fired. The girlfriend's freaking out. She's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And Mustachio, he's like, "Oh, I will," he's like, "Stay right here. I'll go check on it." And it turns out the doctor is killed. That dude shot him. Mustachio and his girlfriend are going up those stairs that lead out of the lab. And Aunt Gussie's coming down. And she's like, "Where's the doctor?" And they're like, "The doctor is unavailable right now." "Why?" And she's like, "Oh, the doctor prescribed me hydromagnesium sulfate, and I don't know, blah, 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 blah." She's all talking about, because she's a hypochondriac, she's got all this shit wrong with her. And the doctor laughs. He's like, "Hydromagnesium sulfate." He's like, "That's Epsom salt." Ha 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 ha. They have a good, sweet little laugh. And then it's over. All right. What did I think of the vampire bat? First of all, there weren't that many bats. There were some at the very beginning when the lamp guy was walking around. And they never explained that howl. I don't know if it was from a wolf, a dog, what it had to do with the story or the plot. Really nothing, just was there to scare the townspeople. I think it was like maybe a good case of mass hysteria. Kind of like a witch hunt. Everyone's suspecting someone who would have something to do with bats, which Herman, unfortunately, made himself, a suspect by being friends with these bats. The lamppost guy was the one that was saying that Herman kept these bats as pets. Yeah, that was unfortunate. And I guess the main culprit, the doctor, I don't know if it was a twist. He was kind of, I don't know, a little suspicious from the beginning. I mean, he always seemed to be in the same place as the bad people, but it got overlooked because Herman was always in the wrong place at the wrong time as well. Superstitious beliefs kind of coming in the way of true crime solving. And even though it was a little, it was a little fantasy, with the bad guy being this evil scientist that wanted to create life. A little Frankenstein-y. There was nothing really entertaining except for Mr. DT. What's his name? Herman. And actually, even though I do work in that type of field. I had to look up DTs, which was kind of embarrassing. And it means delirium tremens. And I never really gave it much of a thought until I was like, wait, what the fuck does that stand for? And so I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. I feel a little dumb now. But at least I got a little bit of education on that part, even though the guy's shakiness probably had nothing to do with delirium tremens. Yeah. What did I think about the movie? I like that it was short. There was some things that were a little fun and entertaining, like Mustachio making fun of the fat guy. That was kind of fun. I don't know. It didn't have to be fun. It was weird. I mean, it was good to see, like, mass hysteria can happen, and pointing fingers at people, suspects, who who are kind of like red herrings, close enough to get you away from the actual culprit. And I thought that was kind of cool. The mustachio guy was pretty funny, the way he was such an asshole. He was such a dick to all these people that have all these superstitious beliefs. I felt like it rang a little bit true, because I'm kind of like that. I don't know. I'm kind of the one that's always like, really? Yeah, sure. That was the vampire bat. Anyway, that was my movie. I hope everyone's having a great Halloween season. It is my favorite season. I love the spooky stuff. I love the spooky movies and shows. I don't watch a lot of TV, and YouTube videos. I kind of seem to gravitate towards that and start watching a lot of creepy YouTube stuff. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I rate Vampire Bat 3 out of 10. There were barely any bats. I didn't know what they were talking about most of the time. So, yeah. 3 out of 10.